Hey everybody, welcome to Cycle News. Today we've got a pretty special bike for you on test. Today we are testing the 2021 Aprilia Tuono V4. Happy days. Now I'm a huge fan of the Tuono V4, as you probably know. I was lucky enough to get to race it a couple of years ago for Aprilia here in America at Pikes Peak, and yeah, just I've admired that bike for many years. It's kind of known by a lot of the world's riders as the best naked bike out there. The naked bike class has become incredibly competitive now in the last sort of 3 or 4 years, especially. You got bikes like the incredible Street Fighter V4S from Ducati, you've got the beautiful Super Duke 1290, you have the brand new Triumph Speed Triple, which is just like night and day difference compared to the old one. You can then go down to, or not even go down, you go next, you have your BMW S1000. Now you can kind of maybe take a little bit of a step down. You've got bikes like the Yamaha MT-10. So like the range of possibilities are huge in this segment right now. We've never seen that level of choice in the segment before. But at the end of the day, the cream always rises to the top, as they always say. And having had a ride on that new Tuono V4, I've got to say it's still pretty damn good. It's really good, actually. So the 21 Tuono V4 is not that different, we've got to admit. It's not that different. It's not this big change compared to the old one. Still got the same 1077 V4, 1077cc V4, I should say. And it's also got basically the same main chassis, although the swing arm has now been changed to the same unit that is found on the RSV4, the new upside down inverted swing arm, which was modeled on Alicia Spargro's RSGP machine. On the superbike, when I was riding it at Laguna Seca, I was like, yeah, this thing makes a big difference, especially when you're on the side of the tire and how solid it is, how much feedback you get. Really nice. On the road, you don't notice it as much, be honest, because look, you're not riding the bike as hard. It's still very stable over, long curves with big bumps in the middle of it. So it's a good thing, but you're not going to notice a huge breakthrough difference in comparison to the old bike. Now for 2021, Aprilia has done probably what they should have done many years ago, and that's further differentiate the two Tuono models. So you've got your Tuono factory model, which has got all the bells and whistles, which is much more aligned at the track. But then you got your base model. Now the base model just used to be a toned down version of the Tuono factory. Now it's much more of a touring style bike. So you've got a high windscreen, you've got high mounted handlebars, you have a different subframe that has a big wide passenger seat with pillion grab handles as well. You now have the option of being able to put decent luggage on it. You could do it on your old one if you really wanted to, but like this one now has tailor-made luggage that you can buy from Aprilia. And you also have lower set foot pegs as well, so that your passenger, if he or she is brave enough to get on the back of something as quick as that with you, then they're going to be a little bit more comfortable. You're going to be able to put other bits and pieces on, like tank bags and all that kind of stuff, which you could do on your factory too if you want. But this is going to be much more of Aprilia's kind of aiming at bikes like the Super Duke GT, for example, KTM Super Duke GT, also the BMW S1000 XR, for example. I wouldn't call it so much something like the Ducati Multistrada V4, because even though it does have the same motor as it has in the Street Fighter, there's much more off-road capability with something like the Multistrada. Also, just to bear in mind, the base model, the touring model, we'll call it that, that comes with Sachs fully adjustable suspension, which is the same suspension that comes on the base model RSV4, and I loved that suspension. Like really nice. Like I remember back in the day when the Sachs wasn't anywhere near as good as the old ones. Like it's pretty good stuff now. It's really nice. It's got a very plush ride, and when you put it on the road especially, it's quite nice. When we went back to the Tuono V4 factory, you've got the Öhlins Smart EC 2.0 semi-active electronic suspension. So you've got a bunch of different modes in there that you can program. You can have it as soft, medium, hard. You can also go in there and switch it all the way off and turn it into totally manual mode, which on the road you probably don't need, if we're honest. Like it's actually good to have, at least I think it is, it's good to have the electronic suspension on the street. When you go to the track, you'll want to switch it into manual because then it's going to be much more predictable. You're going to be hitting the same line hopefully, every time you go around the lap, and you want your suspension to be predictable. You don't want to be playing around underneath you. When you go to the road and you're playing with multiple different surfaces, different things that come up in front of you, a kid runs out in front of you, you hit the brakes and you want to make sure the thing gets stiff real quick, like all that kind of stuff. That's where the semi-active suspension really shines. Under the hood, you've got the same 1077cc motor, pumps out a claimed 175 horsepower, which, look, probably say the pants about 160, I guess, ish. Now, it's been Euro 5'd, shall we say, and unfortunately, there is now a little bit of a flat spot in the power in comparison to what it was before. It's nowhere near as bad as what you might get on something like the S1000RR BMW or the CBR 1000RR/R SP superbike from Honda. Those bikes really suffer when you hit that flat spot. This isn't as bad. The RSV4, by comparison, which has about 40 or so more horsepower, it just powers through that emission thing, like it's just bulldozes its way through it, and you don't really notice it. But you do notice a little bit more on the Tuono V4. It's not as bad as what it could be. So look, I'm not going to ham on them too hard. It's something that they have to do. You've got to do it now to be able to get through your emissions testing. But look, Aprilia's done a not too bad a job. You get plenty of creature comforts now with the Tuono V4. Cruise control, happy days. You also get the full suite of rider electronics. You get 8-stage traction control, 3 variable power modes. You have wheelie control, launch control, cornering ABS, like all that stuff. It's all there. It's all adjustable. You can have your preset maps if you want that come from Aprilia, or you can just go in there and plug in play however you want. There's plenty of stuff to get lost in. You only had an afternoon with both bikes, so I didn't do my phone or any of that sort of stuff, which you can do, but you will be able to tailor the ride exactly how you want. Brakes are the same across both models. Brembo Stylema calipers matched to a radial master cylinder. I've lost count of the amount of bikes that setup is on. It works, works great. I'm not going to tell you anything you don't already know, because it is on so many different bikes these days. It's kind of just become that's just the standard nowadays for high-end naked bikes, super bikes, things like that. Everyone just throws Brembos on there and a radial master cylinder and calls it done. Cornering ABS, which is really cool, doesn't kick in too early as far as I'm concerned. Like, really hammered the brakes a few times to see if I get the thing going. Did get it working, obviously, but yeah, that would have been point of crashing, I guess. So look, it's a very good system. The Aprilia Performance Ride Control System, it's such a great system, so intuitive. Now it's got that 5-inch TFT screen. It's pretty easy to learn, I've got to say. A lot of systems are not that easy to learn. This one is much easier. So, thumbs up to the experienced designers at Aprilia who came up with that. They did a good job. Look, the Aprilia Tuono V4 is just one of those bikes it's such a gem of a bike. As I say, it's not that changed. It didn't need to be changed. It's such a good thing. You got LED lights on the front. You got the same kind of bodywork now, which has come on the RSV4 Superbike. So now you have the complete family lineage coming through. But look, it is a hell of a bike. It really is. It's such a beautiful thing to ride. Aprilia have done such a good job. If you're going to go out and buy yourself a naked bike these days, it's still top of the pile, I think, in my view.